This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us. Before we jump in, I don't do this every week, but I would love if you went over, left a review, left a comment. I listen to all of those. Give me some topics. Send over to steve@teachhoops.com. What kind of topics do you want to hear? But before we jump into today's topic, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market. I've tried them all, and this is not only how innovative they are, but the workouts and what I love about Dr. Dish is they give back to the community. If you follow them on Facebook, if you follow them on Twitter, they're always giving back to the basketball community. And you mentioned Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It is a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's resources, it's handouts, it's videos, it's one-on-one calls, it's office hours. It's a coach. It's a resource run by a coach for a coach. It's not an ex-coach, not someone that's been let go, not someone that's coaching part-time. This is what I do. And Teach Hoops helps me keep the bills on. He helps me put up these podcasts, 13 podcasts a week. Teach Hoops helps me be able to do that. And it's a roadmap for you to be successful. And let me help you in this great journey that we call coaching. But let's head off to the podcast.
I mean, there are some that make six figures and do really well, but
there are, but they're the outliers.
Yes. And so that kind of put me on the free agent list, I guess. And in the meantime, my daughters have been at Eastern Mennonite School where I coach now. They've been there since kindergarten. They're in 5th and 7th grade now. And the gentleman who was the athletic director and the basketball coach there had been doing that for 22 years. And he wasn't quite ready to be done, but he was nearing the end.
Okay.
And his son had played point guard for my AAU team and was going to college, and he didn't want to, miss his games for 4 years. He wanted to go see him, which if he was coaching, he wasn't going to be able to do it. So right. We all kind of got together and had a conversation about, whether or not I'd be interested in the job if it was open. And so then it was open, and it was a pretty long interview process. It's not like, they handed me the job. There were a lot of people that applied for it, and eventually got.
And how long have you been there?
So I've had 3 seasons there. I just finished my 3rd year there.
So 2.5. I'll count it 2.5.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. 2.5. Yeah. We played 14 games this year.
That's not bad. What do you think's the hardest thing to teach? To coach
in basketball?
Yeah, in basketball.
Gosh, the hardest thing to coach.
I mean, always a hard question for every coach. Because it's like, I think there's lots of things, but what's
Right. It's
what's
so
the
hard to
hardest?
narrow it down to one. I mean, I have a saying that I try to live by is I coach kids, they happen to play basketball. I mean, I think the hardest thing to coach is to coach people. It's
Right.
not, I mean, teaching the jump shot and I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but the human element is maybe the most difficult
Well, and I
part.
think Bobby Knight is a prime example of you better change with the times too. Like
Yeah.
how you coach 30 years ago and how you're coaching now and how you're going to coach 30 years from now is going to be different. Everything you have to adjust to the clientele that's in front of you too, I think.
You definitely do. And yeah, we're a private school, so people transfer in to play for us. That is allowed at the private school. Like here, private school and public school are not in the same division. Like in Colorado, they were all
Right.
together. But Colorado is an open enrollment state, so you could go to any high school in Colorado you want to. You could just jump around.
So in Colorado, if I start in a school in October, can I transfer to another school in November and start playing? Or do I have to
No,
sit?
there's rules for like when you do it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
there's no rule for like you could go to Boulder High this year and you could go to Fairview next year, which is another school that's near there. But the only thing is if you're in your school zone, they'll provide transportation.
Okay.
If you're going to a school that's outside, they're not gonna
Provide
give you a bus. You got to get there. And I think that they're now, I mean, I haven't been there for 10 years, but tuition, you might have to pay some tuition, and then also there's waiting lists for certain schools, so you may or may not get in. But yeah, here, I mean, we've had kids that transfer in, and I mean, kids come to our school for a variety of reasons.
So there's probably not as much hostility between public and private then.
Oh, there is.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
plenty.
I see it in our state, but we play in the same, like there's one state tournament for everybody, and it doesn't tend to affect the big schools. It tends to affect the smaller schools. So
Well, it would be worse for sure if we were all competing for the same title.
right.
But it's as bad as it when a kid leaves a public school and comes to your private school. You're still going to have to deal with the same
It's the same
issue.
issue.
You have
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
and that's an unfortunate part of it.
I mean, my theory is a kid should be able to go to school wherever they want. That's my theory.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do you have a coaching failure or something that's happened in your career that would be a teachable moment for a young coach that's listening? Could be a success, I guess, too. I usually just ask for a failure, but could be a success.
Well, I think for me, when I was younger and like I talked about with my first coaching job here, when I left before like my relationships were still intact and I'm still very close to a lot of people, that I met when I was there. But my relationship with admin was shaky at times because I felt like I had to fight a lot of battles
Right.
and I wasn't smart enough to understand, it's that whole thing. I'm trying to think of how the quote goes, but fight the ones that are big enough to matter, but small enough you can win type of thing.
Right.
I mean, I just fight all the battles.
Right.
And try to win them all.
Yeah.
And wasn't smart enough to understand that sometimes when I win, I lose and all those type of things. So yeah, it was just all the non-basketball stuff that I didn't understand what a coach has to deal with and go through and how important, like I'm the type of person that hasn't, perception doesn't mean a lot to me. Like I don't necessarily care what someone thinks about me. I'm not going to go out of my way to fake it, to have them love me for something that I'm not.
Right.
I'd rather be hated for what I am than loved for what I'm not, kind of thing. But perception is very important in that position. And
well, it's a political position. Some young coaches don't understand. If you're in the seventh least popular sport, they're not going to care quite as much. But if you're the football coach, you're the basketball coach, you're the baseball coach, it is a little bit of a political position. I've had a hard time explaining that to some of my assistant coaches. Sometimes it's like, I don't know. You're out in the community and you're magnified is basically what I tell them.
Yeah. And I've had the things that every coach has had, where I've been out to dinner and the table next to us was talking about me, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively, but didn't know that I was sitting right there. Sometimes my daughter would be with me, and like, we're standing at the deli counter one day and this lady's on the phone just railing on me.
Right.
And my daughter was like 6 and she figured out who the lady was talking about. And she was like elbowing me. And I said, it's part of the deal, honey. It's okay. You know, but, I think I've grown. I mean, I still have, still learn every day, but I've grown in those areas. Just as you get older and more mature and go through things, you understand the importance of that part of the job.
Yeah. I think that's a good, thing for coaches to understand. Do you have any superstitions?
Yeah, I sure do. I mean, I'm a golfer, so I don't, I have to have blue Gatorade before every game. And I, once the tip goes, then I open it and I take a drink. But going back to my time at that first job that I was talking about, so we were in a stretch where we weren't playing very well, and my sister-in-law bought me a sweater for Christmas, and I wore the sweater to the game, and we broke our win streak, or broke our losing streak, and got a win. So I'm like, all right, I'm not washing this shirt, and I'm wearing it the next game. So we win the next game. And then, well, now the rest of the story. Like, so this thing, I mean, I was having to put it in the dryer with like 6 dryer sheets to keep it, from stinking or whatever. But we ended up rattling off 6 in a row, which was like the longest win streak that school had in a long time. And the paper actually wrote an article about the lucky sweater. And people would joke that,
my wife threw out a suit once. It was so bad. Like I wouldn't dry clean it. She says, this is done. We're throwing this out. The worst one is one of my undefeated seasons, it was like 26 number 3s at McDonald's or something. Literally, like by the 26th one, I'd take a bite and I'd throw the rest of it out. Like, I feel bad about wasting food, but it was like, oh my God. But we kept winning. It was like, don't mess with it. I love that. All right. So let's do rapid fire. So what's your favorite brand of basketball?
I like the Evolution.
Okay.
Yep.
One word to describe your ideal play.
Relentless.
Okay. I think I know the answer to the next one. One sporting event. You go to one sporting event, what would it be?
The Masters.
I know. I figured that was. I've had that a couple of times today with the other coaches. What's your favorite pregame or postgame meal?
I'm big on pho, Vietnamese.
Okay.
Vietnamese noodles. Yeah, I'm big on pho. Love pho after a big win. Nothing better.
Okay. What does your normal game day look like? Not this year, but your normal game day look like?
Just routine wise, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, teach all day. Because I'm a teacher, so. I'll teach, and then if it's a home game, we're going to have the team meal sometime around 4:00, and then I'll get the scout written up on the board and that type of thing. And you asked about superstitions earlier. Like, for me, it's more of a routine than a superstition, but I like to sit down, as we put the 20 on there and warm up start. I like to go in the office and sit down and write all my play calls out on a note card. So it just gets me thinking in the right way, and just gets the play calls kind of in my mind or whatever. That's part of my routine. So then coach the game, and then it's like, I don't know about other coaches, but I come home after the game and upload the film and sit down and watch it. Like, I can't.
Oh, you do? See, I don't.
I have to.
So that's the one night I won't do it because I'm too emotional about it. I do it the next day, but I will turn on the news. I'll turn on Netflix. there's 2 nights that are easy. Well, that's not an easy night, depending on whether we win or lose. But the night before, like if we play on Friday, Thursday night's easy for me because I can't do anything. I'm done. Like cows in the barn at that point, you know. What am I gonna do?
Well, I do something that I call OER. It's overall efficiency rating. It's a plus minus thing that I've developed over the years, and it spits out a score for me that tells me, and I put a lot of weight into it. It can't tell you everything. It can't tell you if a guy's getting his doors blown off defensively or missed an assignment or whatever it is, but I will sit down and do the OER. There might be 2 or 3 games a year where I don't watch the film that night, regardless of what time it is. But that's just the games where, like, if we win like 90-24,
right,
I'm just on to the next. But otherwise, I've got to sit down and go through all that.
What do you think is one important coaching technique?
Well, I think the most important thing in coaching is relationships and relationship building, whether it be with your players or, like I've said, trying to learn how to grow in the other areas of relationship, because you need every single person in your school and in your community with 2 hands on the rope pulling in the same direction, or if you don't, you better have an overwhelming amount of talent to be able to get it done. And we've been lucky enough. We've been to 3 straight Final Fours and back-to-back state championship games for a little school like ours. And we're, on paper, I mean, we lose the eye test. We always joke that, lose the eye test by 20, lose warm-ups by 10, win the game by 15. Like, you look at us, the other team, and you just think like, this is over. We have no chance. But it's not track and field, it's basketball. And so, but the relationship part, and I coach my kids really, really hard. I come in every day. I mean, again, I'm not a yeller. I'm not a cusser. That's not my thing. I think when you do that, at some point, you have to continue to do it. And at some point, that's all you do.
Right.
Like, you start down the road.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And so people complain nowadays that you can't coach today's kids and you can't push them and you can't. And maybe I'm just the luckiest guy in the world and I just coach the greatest kids every year, but I don't see it that way. But I do think that it's more important that they know that you care about them and have their best interests at heart, and that you have a relationship with them that can like bear the weight of that truth that you have to share with them on a daily basis.
Right.
Whether they're not getting it done or they're not good enough, or, what else, like a sacrifice they need to make for the team,
right.
Or something like that. That all boils down to relationships.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-electric Prologue SUV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the generous passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
And I coach kids. They happen to play basketball.
Describe your perfect player in 5 words or less.
Oh my goodness. I have a group of kids here, some of them that play in college and stuff, but we joke all the time about like what the word hooper means, like if I say he's a hooper, then he has the stamp. He's a hooper. But I think on my AAU Twitter bio,
you have the 5 words that you used.
So motor.
Okay.
Skill set. Clutch. Toughness and mindset.
Okay. Best basketball player of all time.
Best of all time? I got to go Jordan. Favorite of all time is obviously Larry Bird, but Yeah, I recognize, the LeBron Jordan argument, and I just think the eras are too different. But the best I've ever seen.
He never even got to a game 7. I don't think Michael did. I mean, he never lost the final.
I mean, I watched my Pacer teams have to go against him and everything. In my mind, he's the best I've ever seen.
I think most used basketball resource.
Twitter.
Okay. Teach one skill. If you could only teach one skill, what would it be?
Shooting.
Shot clock, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Charge circle, yes or no?
Yes.
If you change one thing about the game, what would you change?
If the ball gets stuck in the crotch of the rim, it should be defense ball, period.
That's a good one. I'm going to add that to my my list.
Shouldn't go to the arrow.
It shouldn't go to the arrow. Quarters or half?
Quarters.
Okay. One word to describe your best basketball coach of all time.
I'm going to say, since my dog is named Izzo, I'm going to say Tom Izzo.
Okay. Best team of all time.
76 Hoosiers.
Can't argue it. Jump ball, yes or no?
No, and we played without a jump ball this year. That was the COVID rule.
It's one of I'm gonna add the other one you had too, but jump ball is I don't know why we have it. The visiting team should just get the ball. Let's go.
Right.
And here's the reason. If you're in the NBA and you jump ball everything, great. The officials are good at throwing it. I don't know about in Virginia, but the officials in Wisconsin can't throw the ball up.
Well, we never won it anyway because I coach a bunch of midgets. So
right.
for me,
I think it would make the X's and O's really good. So that's one of my moves is like I'm going to try to get rid of the jump ball. It's an
I'm on board with
thing.
that. I am totally on board. It's not you're right. It's not a consistent.
And the thing is, so you're going to do it at the beginning of the game, and then you're going to do it in overtime. The guy's thrown the ball up maybe 4 times all year, and he's going to throw it up in overtime.
Right.
It's like, come on. It should just be alternating possession. Visiting team gets the ball to start. Yep. Trust me, the X's and O's and the coaching things that would happen would be great. But anyway.
I loved it this year. Yeah.
I know. I think so too. All right. My last question always is, what's one bit of advice you'd give your younger son?
There are no little things.
There are no little things.
We had a quote that we, not this year, but the year before, that if you're too big to do the little things, you'll be too little to do the big things. And just kind of that whole mantra of like how you do anything is how you do everything. And that like Brad Stevens talks about it a lot, that like if you consider the consequences of not doing the little things, you realize there are no little things. Like it all matters. The habits you have when it seems like it doesn't matter end up being the habits you have when it matters. There are no little things.
I love that. That's a great way to end, Coach. Thank you for doing this. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for everything that you do for the basketball community and your passion for the game and for learning and sharing. It's really unbelievable.
Well, thank you. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want to hear other podcasts by Coach Collins, go over and check out High School Hoops and Teacher Side Gig, and then go over and subscribe to all of them and leave all of them 5-star reviews. That would be great. And then if you have 30 seconds after that, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Have a great day.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.